Hello everyone, you're watching Campus Channel and we are here today with ESSEC to talk about the Global BBA. The Director of Studies, Corinne Peffer, and her student, Shrey Agrawal, are here to take your questions. But first, we're going to start with the pitch. All right, you have 60 seconds flat. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, go.
Thank you very much, Jacob, for welcoming us today with Shrey. So the Global BBA is the undergraduate program at ESSEC Business School, a very prestigious and non-for-profit organization based in France, but which also has 3 other different locations around the world: Singapore, Rabat in Morocco, and Mauritius. The BBA is a 4-year program, and it built its curriculum on 2 main foundations: a very international experience, very strong international experience, and also the learning by doing approach. So I'm sure we're going to talk more about this later with the questions. What I wanted to share also is that we have the ambition to continuously challenge the students and transform them into talented professionals, qualified professionals, and people who are ready to take the next step into their career and their personal project. That's it.
All right, 0. Perfect timing. We're going to move on to the face-to-face. Sure. Please remember to keep sending us your questions because they're going to show up right there. So let's take the first one. Corinne, will you read this one for me, please?
Sure. Hello, I see that the program is taught in both French and English. How much French do we have to speak? I studied in high school, but it's not great.
All right, so how much French do we need to know?
Well, technically 0. If you don't speak French, that's perfectly okay. Shrey, you want to elaborate on this because I think you're a good example.
I think I had a similar situation because I did study some French in India, but when I wanted to join ESSEC, I chose to join the course in the English track because I feel like if you feel more comfortable with English, you should definitely join the track in the English program, in the English track. However, if you think your level of French is enough to accommodate the functioning of the program and dealing with all the courses in French, because sometimes you study in English and you study French as a language, but studying the whole course in a different language can be different.
It's completely different.
It's completely different.
You knew some French before you came.
Yeah.
I think you told me you were B1.
Yeah.
Did you have the opportunity to continue studying French?
Yeah, definitely. At ESSEC, I had 6 hours of classes in a week for French, so that has definitely helped me a lot. For example, there's business French, and then there's day-to-day French, so that you can talk to the people who are French, and in your day-to-day surroundings, you go to buy groceries, you speak French, slowly you get it.
Are those classes required? Are students required to have French credits by the end of their studies?
Yes.
Okay.
For students who are international students with not a native level in French, we ask them to take French throughout at least the first 2-3 years during the program, because we believe it's going to be very useful.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
More generally speaking, the program really focuses on learning different languages, and that's a requirement for all our students. So those who already speak French will have to take another language instead, and actually we also ask students to start a 3rd language. So it's very, very strong focus on knowing other cultures, knowing other languages.
Great. All right, Shrey, will you take the next question for me, please?
How often do we get to change campuses? Can we change every year?
Okay, maybe I'll take that one then.
Go ahead.
Okay. You get to change campuses. It's not structured year by year. It is a possibility for students to change campuses during the 2nd year for 1 semester. So that will be whatever campus you start from, you will have the chance to study on another campus either in the fall or the spring of the 2nd year.
So there's only one chance to change campuses?
For now, we are also working on offering an opportunity to change campuses during the year 3 and 4. It's not done yet, so I'm just being cautious, but we are really working on it.
So hypothetically, if a student starts, say, in Cergy, but they decide that they actually want to go to Singapore, can they completely change campuses altogether and switch focuses?
For 1 semester, yes.
Just for 1 semester,
yes.
But not changing the entire program?
No, well, the point is that actually when you choose a starting campus, it's basically only for the first 2 years, because from year 3 and 4, the program structure is such that you're actually moving around the world, doing internships, going on exchange programs. So then there's no real distinction between, whatever campus you're coming from. So it really, the notion of starting campus really applies to the first 2 years. So if you are starting in Mauritius, for example, next year, then you'll have a chance to go to Cergy or to Morocco or to Singapore during your second year.
All right, let's take the next question. Corinne, will you take this one for me, please?
Will this bachelor's be enough to get a good job, or will I need to get a master's? It is definitely enough to get a good job, because the program is a 4 years program, and it adds a lot of intensity and content in terms of knowledge. It will also, to be clear, depend on where you'll be looking for a job, because many markets around the world are looking at graduates from bachelor's degrees. Markets like France are more likely to look for students with a master's degree. So if you're really looking for a job in France, it is very likely that you want to continue your studies straight after the bachelor's.
So what kinds of jobs do students typically get with a BBA? What kinds of roles are they qualified for?
They can actually take any kind of job that you would find in a company. So that could be in a marketing department, that could be in a finance department.
And managerial roles or entry level?
Well, very likely to be entry level. You can start managers, but I guess that's not very often, step by step. You're only just young graduate students, so they would start at entry level. But they have all the necessary skills to really grow up the ladder quite quickly. So that's quite important.
Shrey, what about you? Do you have your eyes set on a job, or do you want to go on and get a master's after this? What's your intention?
Actually, that's a really nice question because right now I'm not yet sure, because I have a startup also, so I'm kind of thinking about working on that also. But then there's a really nice prospect of getting a nice job and be safe with it. Startup is a bit more risky. You never know how it's going to work out in the next 2 years, 3 years. So as of now, I'm undecided. But in the next 2 years, I'm really looking forward to complete my course and get the most out of it, because I have an internship to do, I have another international exchange to go through, and then I have one more semester itself at ESSEC. So I'm really looking forward to get the most out of it, and maybe during the next 1.5 years, I will get that direction right, and then I'll be able to make that call, if I really want to invest all my time in the startup, or if I want to work for another firm or something like that.
You have some more time to think about it.
Yeah.
Corinne, will you take the next question for me, please?
Does our ESSEC tuition cover fees of partner universities? I understand tuition is much more expensive in the US, for example. Yes, good news, it does cover everything in terms of tuition fees. So once you sign up for ESSEC and we send you on an exchange program, all students will go on an exchange program. You don't have to pay any extra tuition fees. You have to pay by yourself, obviously, the living costs, the airfare and everything, but no extra tuition fees.
And when in the program does this exchange opportunity come? Is it at the same time that students have the chance to switch campuses?
No, it's later. The exchange program is going to be in year 3 and 4. So you will have a chance to do both, actually. Yeah.
But it's not required that they do an exchange. They can
It is required.
So they have to go to an exchange
Yes.
university.
It's a degree requirement. So we have to find you a slot.
Where are you looking at going, Shrey?
I actually know where I'm going. I'm going to US. I'm going to Ross School of Business, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. I'm really excited about that because it's one of the best schools, actually.
Yeah.
If you see the ranking, there are only 3 schools above that, University of, Pennsylvania and MIT. So you're talking about big league schools, And I get an opportunity to go there, so that's really massive for me. Yeah.
How many partnerships do you have with universities? How many universities can students choose from?
We have approximately 140. It changes every day, actually, because we are really signing more and more partners every day. But yeah, that's roughly the number.
All right, let's take the next question. Shrey, will you take this one for me?
Could you tell us more about the scholarships provided? What requirements we have to cover?
Okay.
I think that's for...
That's for me. Okay. So we offer 5 different types of scholarship for international admissions. The first one is the Excellence Scholarship. So as the name says, it's for the best students in terms of academics. So we'll be looking at former grades and also the interview. It's a whole, but really the academic dimension will get priority. We also have a Diversity Scholarship. So this really depends on the overall application that we receive. We want to make sure that we encourage students from all nationalities to apply and all cultures. Then we have specific scholarships for the different campuses. So we have scholarship for Singaporeans who want to study in Singapore, Moroccans who want to study in Morocco, and Mauritians who want to study in Mauritius. Yeah.
And so, do they apply for these scholarships at the same time that they apply for admission, or do they have to wait until they're admitted to the school?
Yeah, there's no application for scholarships. It's we allocate the scholarships during the admission committee. So once you get the news about being admitted, then you will also get potentially the good news about getting a scholarship or not.
Can students signal that they're interested in being considered for a scholarship? Obviously, you're proactively looking, but can students express their need?
Of course, they can always express their need towards the recruiter they're in contact with, but it's not compulsory as such because the criteria are mainly academic or nationality. So.
And last question on the subject, how many scholarships are given each year? Is there a set limited number for each category?
No, it's not like a defined number, so I'd say it's maybe 10% of the students, not more, that will get a scholarship, something like this. Yeah.
Okay, let's take the next question, Shrey.
Sure. Since it's so competitive, how are students selected for the IBEA track? That's again for you, I think.
All right, so let's talk about the IBEA track. What is this exactly?
So IBEA stands for International Business Education Alliance. It's a track within the program. It's like a super exchange program with 3 other partners. We have a partnership with Mannheim University, with the University of Southern Carolina, Dalmore School of Business in, I forgot the city.
There's next in Brazil, no?
And FGV, anyway, so Dalmore and then FGV in Rio. So these are the 4 partners together with ESSEC, which each of them will select a batch of 11 students that will move into cohorts of 44.
So very competitive.
Yes.
So how are they
chosen?
So
it's 11 students from each institution. For ESSEC, that means out of 500, 600 students, based on grades, just, meritocratic. So best students will get...
solely grades? Are there any other
and
criteria?
English level, that's more like eligibility criteria. Obviously, you need to speak English, but that's the only criteria.
And is this a program that students apply for, or are they
Yes,
selected?
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we don't want to send in there a student that doesn't want to go. So
you must go to Brazil.
Too bad. So obviously, it's based on application because not everybody wants to do that program because it's a track. So if you choose that track, then there are other options you cannot do. But of course, it is very attractive and hence very selective.
So work very hard, get good grades.
Exactly.
You might go.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break from the face-to-face because it's time for 3 words max.
Okay.
All right, our guests have 3 words to describe their program, and for each word, they get 1 phrase to describe why they chose that word. So, are you ready to tell me your first word?
Sure.
Okay.
So the first one is going to be excellence. If you really want to just have 1 word, academic excellence, but let's say excellence.
Okay.
Because this program is part of ESSEC Business School, which is really an institution of excellence with full-time professors from, fulfilling the international standards in the field, doing research, etc. The second word is going to be international, but because this is really the DNA of the program. It is international from all the dimensions, not only because we send students abroad, but because the program is in itself international with the 4 different campuses and also the diversity of the student body. And then the third word,
word number 3, I understand you came up with yourself, so let's hear it.
We were talking about it and I thought like it was inspiring, really. Because for me, I think like the way the course has been designed, you get to go through so many experiences which actually inspire you. Like it can inspire you in any way, but like my inspiration was, for example, to find my way, like what I really want to do. So like I talked about the startup, so I really found that. And I think it's really the structure of the program which makes you go through such amazing experiences that you find that inspiration in your life that, okay, this is what gets me going, this is what I want to do, And that is really a major key for me. Yeah.
Very inspiring indeed. All right, let's get back to questions. Corinne, will you take this one for me, please?
How is it better to go in the BBA in France rather than UK or USA? Do the students get enough employment opportunities after BBA? Well, how is it better? Living in France or UK or USA is a whole different life experience. So I guess there's more of a personal choice. You have different culture in each country. There is no issue about getting a job after the BBA because we have a very strong set of corporate relationships within ESSEC and dedicated to all the programs, including BBA, of course. All the students who are actually looking for a job after the program find a job. So, I don't have the exact statistics, but it's not a problem, yeah.
So Shrey, you mentioned that you're going to the US for your exchange. Yeah. Why did you choose to come to France first instead of just going to the US?
First of all, I came to France because in 2010, I came for a 20-day cultural exchange program to France from my school in India. And I had a really, really enriching experience, and I loved the culture. I stayed with a French family for 15 days in south of France. And till date, we exchange cards. On Christmas, I send them wine. They send me nougat. It's a French, I think you guys know it. It's a French sweet thing. Yeah. And they send it. And my family, till date, they maintain the connection, So I was really impressed by the culture. And then I used to study French at school. And so I thought it's a really good school, and it was the best school. You see the rankings and you're like, oh, it's the best school I'm applying to, So I tried to apply for it and I got it, and I'm like, okay, this is where I want to go. But then when we talk about getting back to the question a bit, it says how is it better to do BBA in UK or France? I don't want to this is my personal opinion. I would say I have a lot of friends who are doing their BBA in UK, for example. And the thing is, in UK, there's a 3-year course. And what you're essentially doing is that you are putting 3 years of your life into one subject. Because the courses are either BSc Accounts, BSc Finance, BSc Management, something like that. Which can be really interesting. But for someone like me, it can be a bit scary, Because I don't know if I want to devote 3 years of my life into, for example, accountancy. Maybe after the end of the program, I'm not sure if that's the thing I want to do for the rest of my life,
So this is a more general degree, a more general curriculum.
In a way, I would like to put it in a way that you can construct your own courses. It's more flexible, First 2 years at ESSEC, they give you a glimpse of pretty much everything. You have accounts, you have finance, you have HR, you have business development, you have entrepreneurship. I can talk about it for years, but the thing is what really, the gist of it is you get to see a bit of everything in the business world. How does it all work? And then you can choose for yourself. You say, okay, guess what? I'm not good at math. I'm not going to go for accounting. I'm not good at math. I'm not going to take finance. I am good at math actually, but I'm just kidding. So you just say okay, this is not my area. I'm not going to do this. Why don't I consider marketing? Why don't I consider communications? You know it, But for example, in UK, and also what I don't want to demotivate people going to UK or something, but I just want to be honest here. And I really feel that the way their program is constructed is really academic. The focus is really academic. They don't have any exchanges, for example. They
Less
don't work.
Exploration.
Exactly. So at the end of the program, I have students who will finish in April this year, and they'll be I'm jobless. I don't know what to do because I don't have one experience. I've been in this campus for 3 years, doing 5 subjects over a period of 3 years. So they just know those 5 subjects, nothing else, With all due respect to them, I'm not saying anything wrong here, I just want to say, at ESSEC, what we do is, I realized this over a period of time. Now I've done 2 internships. I've been to 4 different countries, over the period of 2 years. And I know a bit more, I have been exposed to the world a bit more, I feel,
You've had a very dynamic experience.
Exactly. So after the program, when I have to
move
actually...
on to the next question, actually. All right, so if you'll read it for me.
Yeah. What advantages do you see to studying in Morocco or Mauritius as an international student? They seem a bit disconnected from the business world of the top economies and markets.
All right, another advantages question.
Well, actually, they're not disconnected at all. The reason why ESSEC chose to open some programs in Morocco and Mauritius is that we believe Africa is going to be the next area for business development. And linked to that this region really needs to have more talents for the economy, to build that economy. So we want to play a part in educating the future talents of Africa. Morocco, as well as Mauritius, have a clear strategy to become hubs for their own regional area. Mauritius is setting itself as a hub for Australasia and the Indian Ocean, and Morocco is already a hub for the Western and Northern Africa. So it is clearly not disconnected, and these are the reasons why we've decided to go there. So if that is part of your project, of course it makes sense for you. If it's not your project, if you're more interested in Asia, then you'd rather go to Asia, obviously. So again, it's also depending on what you want to do.
So these campuses in Mauritius and Morocco, are they more geared towards locals to regional students, or do you have international students who are choosing to do their studies there as well?
It's geared to both. Obviously, when we start a campus in the location, we attract, in the beginning, more local students. Mauritius hasn't started yet. It's going to start next September. But the objective is clearly to make it international and to have diversity just like we have in the other campuses.
Okay, let's take the next question. If you'll read it for me, Corinne.
What does the ideal profile look like for the BBA? Okay, the ideal profile is not a standard profile. So there's not like one type of profile that we want in the BBA. What we certainly want, some basics are, of course, good academic records. That's a given. We also are looking for candidates who have some open-mindedness, who have a kind of curiosity, who want to discover new things, discover the world, who also know why they want to apply for a bachelor's in business administration and not, I don't know, medicine.
Bit of a vision, yes.
You know, not just by chance that they're applying here.
They need to have a vision.
Well, vision, yes and no. They need to have some sense of why they're doing the things. It's okay if you're 17 or 18 not to know what you're going to do in the next 10 years. That's fine. If you know, that's great also. But you know, we don't expect that from such a young candidate. But we need you to be okay to be sure of why you want to do this kind of program and why you want to do a program that is really based on real experiences rather than a program like Shrey said, which is more based on academics, for example. So that would be the kind of profile we're looking for.
Shrey's your ideal candidate.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Not
definitely.
Shrey, let's take the next question if you'll read it for me,
Sure.
Shrey.
There isn't much information on the site about the courses we take in the program. It just says fundamentals. Can you give us some more details about the curriculum, please?
Okay, that's, well, side question, because it's interesting for me to read that there's not much information on courses. We'll try to correct that. Well, the curriculum in the first 2 years would include courses like marketing, economics, finance, accounting, geopolitics, law. We're going to introduce more IT courses as well, Excel, Python, HTML. We're going to have courses around management of organizations, HR. What else did I forget?
It's pretty much everything. But then there are languages as well.
And languages,
to add
for
to
sure,
it.
yeah.
And then there's maths. Yeah.
And
There's
math and stats, which are
yeah.
more foundation courses for the finance classes.
Then there's
economics.
entrepreneurship.
And
Really
entrepreneurship,
interesting,
how can
really
I forget
interesting
that one?
course.
Yeah. So these are the core courses, and then going to third and fourth year, you'll have more electives in the program.
And that's their chance to specialize.
Yeah, we're a generalist program, so we don't have majors as such, but students who already know that they want to specialize in such and such area, of course, can take more marketing classes or more entrepreneurship classes or more finance classes. So yeah, that's the time where you can do that.
Shrey, have you remained pretty generalist, or have you started to focus on a particular area?
Actually, for me, like the thing is, like even in the third year, when you can choose the electives, you have some basic courses which touch like a lot of domains. For example, there's Principles of Finance, which is a mandatory course. So even if you're not into finance, you will have to know a bit about it, you know. So in that sense, I have a bit of everything, but my direction as of now is directed more towards e-business, web marketing, Salesforce management, and stuff like that.
To serve your startup project that you mentioned earlier.
It's actually because of my startup, I thought e-business can be a really exciting class for me, because it's like you have your own plane, you know, and you're learning how to.
Let's take a look at the next question. I think it's actually linked to what you're saying. So
Sure.
what do we have here, Shrey?
Are there any pre-packaged elective choices that follow a thematic to help us choosing our path? I would say like, the path is there for you to follow actually. Like you have the courses And once you see the brief of the courses, you have an idea as to what is really going to be offered during those classes. And if you can connect with it, and if you feel that, yeah, this is going to directly help me, help the way I want to develop myself, you choose the class. For example, when I was talking about e-business, I thought like, yeah, like making my own website, how to have a payment getaway on the website, and how to manage my queries, for example, softwares to use that. It was really interesting, and I really like, that was one class I would like, you know, be like all like, okay, I'm taking notes, I'm doing everything, because I know like I'm gonna go home, use it, and say like, okay, this is how I'm gonna do it, you know.
So Corinne, what support system is in place for students who don't necessarily know what they want to specialize in? Do they have prepackaged career courses for them to follow?
I'm not sure
Is there
what
counseling available?
I'm not sure the prepackaged, the meaning of prepackaged elective.
So for example, if they want to focus on marketing,
yeah.
Are there suggestions of marketing courses that they should be taking?
Well, of course, we advertise the whole range of electives available, and they're put together in a way that is clearly identified as marketing courses, marketing electives, or finance classes on the other side, for example. There's no package as such. It's not because you take one elective in marketing that you have to take the whole stretch and nothing else. If you want, you can pick and choose the whole range of different electives. Students who are in doubt are always welcome to come and see us, see me, for example, and I can definitely advise them on what would be the best courses for them. We also have career counselors. For example, if a student is really wondering what's going to be my internship, and then if the student knows what's going to be the next internship, define what courses he or she should take to support that. The career counselors can also help on that. So there are two different perspectives for helping them.
Okay, let's take the next question.
Sure. Can we take a break between academic years and pick up our studies where we left off? Well, technically, yes. It's quite rare, I must say, and for legal reasons, it's a very defined situation for students who may encounter personal difficulties or things like this. If the objective of taking a break is doing more experience, so doing more internships, we don't consider this as a break. For us, it's part of the program because we feel that it's really useful for the student. So we will support that if it's approved, obviously. You need to motivate your request, and we would support that and give you proper internship agreement to do this, etc.
Okay, well, we've made it halfway through the interview, and you know what that means.
Oh dear.
Yes, that's right. It is time for Russian roulette.
Oh. Let's do this.
Will they get the best or will they get the worst? There's only one way to find out. All right, Shrey, I think Corinne nominated you while you were not in here.
I'm the one. Oh.
You did.
Okay. Worst period.
Yes.
Worst period, okay.
Okay.
Worst time.
Worst time.
Worst time
Yes.
at campus, or
Yes, worst time during your studies at ESSEC.
when you're in the examination hall and you have no idea what's going on?
Tell me about this. Tell me about when this happened.
Actually,
what test was it?
Actually, it was a test for maths, and
Which I thought you were good at.
I thought so too. I thought so too because I was pretty good at it. I was like, yeah, this is my thing. I'm good at it, But actually, the course was math applied to business, and there was another course which was maths in general, which is like the foundation course. So I actually flipped it because I thought that the exam is for the general maths. So I was like, okay, yeah, I know it. I'm just gonna go.
You studied for the wrong exam.
I studied for it was maths. It was maths. Like I was loyal to maths. You can't doubt my loyalty though. But it was the wrong exam. So I enter the hall. I'm like, yeah, today it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna go there. And I see like maths applied to business, and I'm like, okay. And it was, but it's okay because like in the end, like you just think like normally that okay, like I'm in this situation, what would I do? And you just do, and like the results were not great, but yeah, it was okay. I managed.
You survived.
I managed. Yeah, I did what I had to do.
You passed the class.
I passed the class.
Okay,
yeah.
bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah. That was the worst period, I would say. Yeah.
Corinne, do you have a memory of a worst class or a worst time?
Worst time?
Yes.
Well, I guess that would be, some bad news regarding students where always, when you have natural disasters around the world and we have several exchange students in that country, that's always quite worrying for us. So we are always, very vigilant and making sure that everybody's okay. So yeah.
Okay, let's get back to questions. You want to throw that back in there for me?
Sure.
Thanks. All right. Shrey, will you read the next question for me, please?
I'm not quite sure what kind of work I want to do, not even when it comes to internships. Where do students typically end up for internships? Wow.
So as you said, they're young whenever they're
Yeah.
applying. They don't necessarily know what they want to do.
And that's fine. Yeah, and that's why we have included in the program at least three different experiences for all students to go through, precisely for that reason, because we believe that you can only know by actually doing it and knowing and trying. You can, it's try and error. You can try something and realize it's really not the thing you want to do, or on the contrary, you just go there, okay, I'll try it, and then, wow, revelation, and this is your passion. So for students who don't know what to do at all, after the first year of classes, we ask our students to do a 3-month internship for all of them. And if you don't know what you should do, we recommend an internship in sales, because you're in a business program, so knowing something about sales is always very useful. That's like the basics, and it's quite revealing for most students. So that's like the first experience, but it doesn't have to be sales internship.
So where are some of the typical companies that students find internships?
We have quite a few who would be doing sales at corners at Galeries Lafayette or Printemps for luxury brands. It could be in a real estate agency, that kind of stuff. But some go for very different experiences. Some go for accounting or marketing internships, so that's very good as well.
You've had 1 or 2 internships now, Shrey.
Yeah, I had 2 internships.
Where have you interned so far?
The first internship I did I was a marketing intern at JCDecaux, which is a
French company.
Which is a French outdoor, out-of-the-home advertising media giant, and I worked for them in Delhi. Yeah.
Okay.
And the second internship was more of a humanitarian internship, and I did that in Laos. And it was like in a small city known as Wang Vieng. Amazing experience. 1 month internship and completely changed my life, I would say. Like really great experience.
So you did 2 completely different sectors. You did humanitarian and you did sales.
Actually, I would like to add that the thing is, like, the second internship, it's named internship, but it's more of an experience. It's like a 1 month program, 1 month internship where you're not given a responsibility of actually doing anything which is linked with business. You're actually linked with something which is more humanitarian, which is more linked to the grounds and with the people. Like in Laos, I used to teach students, I used to teach them English, and we would teach them about sustainable development, how to use biogas systems, how to get clean water, make your own clean water from the river water. Even I had no idea actually. I Googled it and then I taught them. So that's the whole idea, and the idea behind this is that when we become managers in future, we actually have an experience. We give some values to the human aspect as well, and not just the money aspect or the business aspect.
Right, you have a diverse background of experiences. Corinne, will you read the next question for me, please?
Who are the professors and where do they come from? Okay, well, from everywhere in the world. The professors in the program are the professors from ESSEC, so it's the same pool of permanent professors. They're
all permanent, all the professors?
Well, we have a variety of full-time professors working at the institution, and of course external lecturers, because that also brings out a lot of value. They bring their expertise from the professional world, so it's a good balance between the two. They come from all the countries you can imagine, so just like the students really. So yeah.
Are there any well-known professors or people who are famous in their fields?
For sure, yeah.
You want to name a couple?
I'm not sure the students would know them because, it's very specific areas. But for example, our Dean of Faculty, Professor Vinci, is very famous in its own field. Radu Vrancianu, who's the head of the economics department, is very famous in terms of economics research. They all have their own areas of specialization.
Okay, Shrey, will you take the next question for me, please?
What facilities to stay at the campus are provided?
All right, so student housing, I think, is the question here.
Yeah.
Is there student housing available?
Definitely. In Cergy, in Morocco, in Mauritius, in Singapore, we don't have the housing facilities yet, but there's a whole different system, and we give guidance to the students.
So there's support available to help them find housing?
Yes, for
and then
sure.
if students don't want to stay on campus, is there housing support provided to help them find lodging off campus?
In Cergy, I'm not sure actually.
In Cergy, I don't think because in Cergy, ESSEC already has 4 residences, So pretty much like if anyone wants their accommodation, they can get it. But yeah, I think in Singapore they provide.
In Singapore, yes, for
yeah,
sure.
but in Singapore I take care of it as well. Like.
Oh yeah.
No, actually, like sorry, but talking about this, like when I went to Singapore, I had a I don't know, a new experience, if you could say, myself as well, and I came up with my startup, which is actually about taking care of student accommodation only for international student exchanges. And yeah, so this year we took care of like 90 students and accommodated them in Singapore. So.
And what about Sergi? Did you stay in the student housing here in France?
During the first year
what's
I
it
stayed.
like?
It's actually a phenomenal experience, like especially for me coming from India, you know. It was a great way to immerse myself into the French culture, into the whole, you know, college vibe, you know. Like we were like eight guys living in 8 separate rooms, sharing one condo in a way with common facilities, and it's crazy.
That sounds like chaos. Actually,
it's not chaos. It's like the good chaos you want, you know. Like it's crazy. Like there are parties every weekend. You really get to meet a ton of people from all parts of the world, because at ESSEC, like you just don't have like global BBA. You have other programs. You have master programs. You have other luxury programs, and people coming in. Exchange programs, so people coming in from like so many places. So you go to any party near the campus, you end up meeting like 10-15 new people, and you're like, wow, I just met someone from Azerbaijan. Wow, I just met someone from Peru. And you're like, wow, you know, like that excites me, because for me it's about like making networks and like having your connections with people, which will help you in the future, you know. So in that sense, it's really exciting.
All right, Corinne, will you take the next question, please?
Sure. That's going to be for you. What's students' life like at ESSEC? Do we have time to participate in student associations?
Yes, this is a question for Shrey, and you
Yeah.
just mentioned a little bit.
Yeah.
It's very diverse.
Actually, like the student life at ESSEC, I would say, is really vibrant and like happening, in the sense like every week, like you don't actually, like I don't even know, like I'm not the guy who's like really involved. Like first year I was really involved, but in the third year, like, you know, like I'm doing stuff on my own, and I'm trying to get everything together. So like I'm not really involved in the student associations, but they're like really crazy associations. You have associations based on regions. Like there's ESSEC India, for example. We have like Diwali parties, we have Holi parties, all the festivals. Then you have associations based on your interests. Like there's a finance club, and there will be like a club for entrepreneurship. There's like joint ventures, which is really nice. It's like incubators for startups. You go there, you get all the facilities, and you'll be guided by your professors who have already done like business. They've worked for big firms. They can guide you, you know, when you go wrong.
And is there time to take advantage of all of these associations?
Exactly. There's a lot of time to do that, because you have to be managed, and they in a way teach you how to manage like time management and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff, like there's a lot of events, like there'll be like a Mexican Day celebration, there'll be like Chocolate Day. I don't know where they come like these days. I think it's all marketing, I don't know. But like they come up with so many days, and every day I'm like, oh wow, we have some party going on today. So like I don't even know like what lunch I'm gonna eat at ESSEC. It might be defined by the association who's put up their camp. You know, like in your head you're thinking, okay, today I'm gonna eat a salad, I'm gonna, you know, maintain my health, you know. And then you end up having a great burrito,
tacos.
And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's very frequently that there are events.
Yeah, there are a lot of events, and then there are like campaigns, parties, and we have like a whole buddy program, like Godfather, Godmother thing. Like I can talk about it like a lot. There's a lot of stuff.
All right, well, let's take the next question instead.
Sure.
What do we have?
How many points on the IB is required in order to be able to join ESSEC?
All right, the
Well,
IB.
I have no idea, because I didn't do IB.
Okay,
Yeah.
what is the IB?
So IB is International Baccalaureate, so it's one of the degrees that we accept for high school students who want to apply into the program. We usually require a minimum of 30 points for IB to be considered. Either you already have your IB and you already have your 30 points or more, or expected IB. Yeah. So
Okay.
expected IB is enough to apply.
Very straightforward. And if they don't have that minimum score, are there other ways that they can boost their profile? to
Not
be accepted?
really, but
No.
you can always try. But I don't know, if you're like 29, we'll see. But yeah, as I mentioned, we're looking at academic excellence, so that's kind of a minimum.
All right, cut and dry. Let's take the next question. Corinne?
How much time does the interview last? Tell us more about it, please. Sure. So the interview is around 30 minutes. It's quite short, but it's enough for us to know you better. The point of the interview is not to review your whole file, because we have it already. The point of the interview is really to get to know what kind of person you are. So we really want to assess how open, how curious you are, what's your project. It's really a free discussion. There's no, standard questions. It really depends on the jury. It's always, it's not going to be tensed or whatever. We are really here to know you better, so we want to see the best of you. So we're going to make sure that you can express yourself, but you also have to play your part, obviously.
Is it conducted by Skype, or do they have
We
to come
can
in
do it
person?
by Skype. For students who are not near one of our campuses, we can do interviews by Skype, yeah.
Shrey, do you remember your interview?
Yeah, I do.
What was it like?
It was in India. It was via Skype, and it was really it was a tense situation for me because the light, the electricity was just cut off in India, and I was like, this had to happen now. Wow. So I actually my mom has a clinic. She's a doctor. So I took the car and I rushed to and I'm in a suit because I want to give a good impression, And I rush into her clinic and I'm sitting and then I open the Skype and there's a human skeleton behind me, like that. And I'm giving my interview. I'm like, hello, yeah, I'm Shrey Agrawal from India. Like, okay, why is there a skeleton behind you though? Then I had to explain them there was a situation. So it was a fun situation, but I had to manage it in a way. So yeah, I always remember that part because I had to, make quick adjustments to actually give the interview.
Well, they saw you were a problem solver because of that situation.
Maybe that's what, yeah.
Will you read the next question, Shrey?
Sure. What types of master degrees do students pursue after the BBA?
Plenty, very different masters. Some of our students, not everybody goes for a master's though, but those who decide to go for a master's degree would go for either a generalist master, again, master in management. Some would prefer to go for a specialization. I don't know, masters in marketing and entrepreneurship and digital
MBA,
data.
perhaps.
MBA not straight afterwards, but after a few years of experience, that's also an option, definitely. And then they go to any type of institution in France, in Europe, in US, Asia, Australia, so it's really, really diverse.
Do you know what proportion of your students choose to pursue a master's after the BBA?
It's roughly 6 students out of 10 that would go for a master's after that.
So more than half.
Yes, yeah, I know. But they're very excited about studying more and getting a
continuing education.
Yeah, because usually, as Shrey said, after these 4 years, you will really find what makes you tick and what you really want to do. Yeah. So you've had 4 years to really explore, experiment, anything you wanted to experiment, and then at the end of these 4 years, you're ready to jump and go for that master that is really highly recognized, right into the specialization you want.
Okay, let's take the next question. Shrey?
What's the workload like?
Yes, I think you can tell us about this.
The workload, it completely depends on what you do. If you're really involved in the school and there's academic workload for sure, which is distributed over all the students. But that is something you can manage. It can be a bit hard at times if you leave everything to the last moment, which we always do because we're students. So it happens, I'll be honest about it.
Your studies director is sitting right here.
No, but
might not be the best thing to say.
I'm a good student, come on.
Yeah.
In the end I make it, it's just the pressure gets me going, whatever. So yeah, but apart from that, the workload is really manageable. You just have to get your assignments in time. You need to have your presentations in time. You just have to keep submitting the things, and they're really strict about the deadlines. If it has to be at 12, it has to be before 12, or we have negative markings.
So how many hours a week do you say you work between going to class and working on outside?
You mean apart from the class?
No, so in class plus the assignments outside of class, how much time do you think you spend working a week?
I'm not sure actually. On an average, I think I have 30 hours of class in a week, and around
this semester.
Yeah,
it's pretty full.
Yeah,
full-time class.
Yeah, 30 hours of class in a week. And then we have assignments, so you can add 3 hours, 4 hours a day maybe to that or something like that. It depends because if I have a presentation on Monday, then I have the weekend to prepare for it. So I'm okay. So you have these meetings, all your friends meet in a Starbucks, and then we prepare, so you get that business feel as well. Then you prepare and then you do the presentation. So it can be like that.
It's true that one of the challenges of the program is to manage that the allocation of your time between studying and enjoying the student life, associations on campus, which is very active, obviously. It is part of the education in the program. It is a rather intense program, but there is time for you to do things outside, for sure.
I would say like it challenges you in a way, you know, like you know there's this party that's happening and you want to go to it, but then you have like, okay, next day I have a presentation. So you like make these decisions.
So you're forced to,
So,
yes, exactly.
So you're like, okay, I'm going to quickly go to the party, come back, you know, take a shower, go to the class. So people do that, and then it makes you feel that you're integrated. You know, it's fine. Works out.
All right. Does your future school have a sense of humor? We're going to find out by taking a step sideways. Your question's going to show up right here. Corinne, I'll let you read this one for me.
Okay, it's time to unwind after work. If ESSEC BBA were a cocktail, what cocktail would it be and why? Oh my gosh, I don't drink cocktails, so
Long Island iced tea.
That didn't take you very long to... That came out like that.
No, because it was in my hand, like, okay, ESSEC, yeah, Long Island iced tea. No, but like...
Oh, I know. Singapore sling has to
Okay.
Nice.
Singapore sling, and why? So tell us why.
be. Singapore sling is the how can I say, the iconic cocktail in Singapore,
Yeah.
and was actually invented in the Raffles Hotel, which is at the city center of Singapore, where the ESSEC campus was located until 2 years ago. So of course, you know, there's a very strong connection, and Singapore is, you know, the first development of ESSEC outside France. So, yeah.
Okay, so you said Long Island iced tea.
Actually, that was
Why
just in the spur of the moment. But like,
well,
honestly,
that's perfect. Tell us why.
But honestly, like, if you talk about like the time to unwind after work, we have a bar at ESSEC, which is known as the Foys.
That might be your
is the
biggest
place.
selling point.
That is, yeah, for students, like, you know, like I'm talking to my students, I'm talking to my friends back in India, and it's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm having a beer. Like, where are you? I'm like, in school. It's like, they let you do that? And I'm like, yeah, we have a bar. Like, it's the
France.
point. It is the point. Like, I finish my classes at 4. I get some of my friends. I'm like, okay, let's go have a beer. Let's just like relax a bit.
Okay, maybe I should say
So nice.
it's true in Cergy. It's definitely not true in Singapore nor in Morocco because of, you know, local differences.
Sure.
Yeah.
So each campus has
That's
its own
true, like-
appreciation of that part about cocktails.
Yeah.
We're trying to have fun here. Don't burst our bubble.
But in Cergy, it's really true. Like, there's such a nice vibe. You know, you get free after the classes. You just go to the Foys. Like, it's like a mandatory to do thing. You know, like if you're at ESSEC, it's a mandatory thing.
It's another class
Like
on your
Thursday
schedule.
nights, Foys.
Bar.
Like, bam, you have it. You know, it's like that. Like.
Okay, I think we have enough time for a few more questions.
Sure. Okay.
So, Shrey, if you'll read the next
Sure.
one for me, please.
Is this a good degree for me if I want to be an entrepreneur?
Oh,
Well, I'm not sure like if I'm an entrepreneur, but like I do have my startup. So I would say like, yeah, the degree, like what I really love about this degree is the fact that, as I mentioned before, like it shows you these tiny bits of each thing, like all the things that you do when you actually like construct your own business. So in that sense, it's perfect because like when I started my business, like it's not long ago, like it's 6 months before like I launched my business. And I felt equipped, you know, I felt equipped. Like you would ask me this question 2 years ago, I'd be like, I don't know what to do. I have an idea, but I don't know how to convert it into something which is realistic and I can offer it to people, you know. But like after the first 2 years, I knew, like I would not say I was an expert on the subject, but I had a starting point. I'm like, okay, this is what you do, you know. And then you explore and then you get to it, you know.
So, Corinne, you mentioned that you have this course on entrepreneurship.
Yes.
How much focus is put on entrepreneurship overall throughout the 3 years that students are with you?
So in the program, we have a very important course in the first year, which is compulsory for all the students, which is a combination of regular classes with guest speakers, etc., and what we call the Nights of Entrepreneurship, where students are put in project mode. They work from 4 p.m. to midnight, and they have to come up with a project and then present it and get some sponsors. And it's really exciting time for students. We'll also have a new course on entrepreneurship, the continuation in the second year, which is going to be more focused on design thinking and how to, design your whole project and come up with the right ideas according to your environment. And we'll have more electives in the third and fourth year. So we're going to give all the students the foundations, and with all the other classes, they're going to have all the foundations necessary to create their own startup. not all our students want to be entrepreneurs, and that's okay. So that's why we also keep some as electives. And those who really want to push it, they can take those electives.
Okay, let's go into the next question. What do we have, Corinne?
Hello, I'm interested in the apprenticeship scheme to finance my studies. How does this impact the rhythm of classwork since it's more committed than an internship?
Yes.
Okay, apprenticeship is indeed one way of funding your studies. It is a very, very interesting scheme. It applies to year 3 and 4 in the program only. You become an employee during those 2 years. So you're not a student first anymore, you're an employee first who's doing some studies in the BBA. So that's really changes the mindset. It allows you to receive a salary during those 2 years and to get the funding of your tuition fees by the company. So that's how it works. Then it doesn't impact your pace of classes as such, because the way we do it is that you're going to go for 6 months in a company, then you come back to school for a full semester, and then you go back to the company, and then you go back to school.
So you don't do it at the same time?
No, it's not at the same time. There's, of course, coming and going out of the company, but not on a weekly basis like most people know about it. So it is very comfortable for the student, because when you are studying, you're just studying full-time, and when you're in company, you're company full-time, and you can really have a proper mission throughout these 6 months.
No compromises?
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
All right. Shrey, will you read the next question for me,
Sure.
please?
Are we obligated to change campuses, or can we do the whole program on one campus? I think there's a choice actually. Like during the first 2 years, you get to stay on one campus, but then you have a possibility for inter-campus exchange. You can, like, if you start in Singapore, for example, you can go to Haba, you can go to Mauritius, you can go to Sergi. However, in the last 2 years, you will have to do an international exchange, which is not the inter-campus exchange. It's like you go study 1 semester abroad in some other universities, like the partners of ESSEC.
Which is obligatory. They have
Yep.
to.
Yeah.
So as far as ESSEC courses are concerned, you don't have to go overseas, but you will have to go on an exchange program for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take the next question.
I would like to apply to your program, but don't have a concrete idea of what campus to choose. How would you say the campus personalities differ? That's a big question. Well, first, they are in different countries with their own cultures. That's a very big difference, obviously. As we talked a lot about the Sergi campus already, because it's the main campus. That's where you have all the history of the school, all the student associations. So it's very vibrant, very lively. There are a lot of events. It's bilingual, very international. The Singapore campus is a very different story because it's brand new. So the building is absolutely amazing. It's got all the new facilities you can imagine. The student body is even more international, very Asian, of course, but not just Asian students go there. It is a way for you to get to know Asia, because in Singapore you have the whole of Asia. Definitely, you don't just have China, you don't just have India, you don't just have Vietnam.
It's a hub for
It's
all
really
the...
a hub, so you really get to see that diversity. The Mauritius campus is not open yet, but it's going to be also a very different experience in the sense that we are going to be there with other French institutions, receiving students from all over Africa. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for cross-disciplinary courses and experiences with incubators, with our engineering partner school and the law school there. So it's going to be an exciting time as well. And of course, Mauritius is just such a beautiful place. And Morocco, the Rabat campus is going to also be a brand new building because quite amazing. Near the beach, the location is just fantastic and absolutely amazing. It's one of the most beautiful places in Morocco. And the campus is going to focus on impact entrepreneurship and social dimension entrepreneurship. So if you have this vibe, then this is also the place you could consider.
That is a very thorough overview of your campus personalities. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Let's take the next question. Shrey?
A question for the student. Okay, what have you liked the most and the least about the program?
You're getting
All
the tough questions today.
Yeah, well.
It's all right. It's all right. I think I'm going to start with the least thing that I like about the
Okay.
program and then finish on a positive note. I think the least thing that I would say, it's actually hard, I feel. It would be managing everything, because you're at a tender age, you know, like you're like, even I'm at like I'm 21 right now, but like when I joined the course I was 18, you know, and this is, your life just changes. Born and brought up in India, suddenly you're cross-continent, you don't speak the same language, you don't have the same cuisine, you don't have the same culture, you know, you don't have your family, you don't have your friends there. So it's like the first 2 months is really crazy because you have a new experience and everything is so new and you feel like you're on a learning high, like you just learn everything. Every day you meet people from new places you've never heard about, you know. And then 2 months later reality hits you, like bam, and then you're like, where's my food? Where are my people? Where's my language, you know? That is something which is hard to deal with.
So the delayed culture shock.
I would say that. And then there's the reverse culture shock. You go back to India, you know, and your dad is like, okay, stop thinking that you're French, okay, come and sit and eat like we eat, you know, whatever, that's a different story. But what I feel like what it really helps you is like, in the end, like we will be doing this, you know, we'll be traveling, we are business students, we'll be traveling around the world, and we don't want to restrict our horizons. We don't want to say like, okay, I only want to be here, I only want to be there. It really like equips you with this ability to go everywhere. That's a thing what at the starting can be, it was not my favorite thing.
Most challenging.
Most challenging.
So
In
what's
that
the
sense,
best
I
part
don't
for
like
you?
it a lot.
What
But
do you
yeah,
like the
for
most?
sure it helps me. And the best thing about the program, again, I would like to really emphasize like the inspiring thing, like really. Like you think it's a normal program, it's not a normal program. It's really a program, you can fine tune it, you can customize it according to your needs, according to your developing interests. And then you just find your way. You just find your way. You just think like I have a roommate.
We have time for one last question,
sure,
actually,
sure,
so we're going to
sure.
wrap that one up.
Sure.
Corinne, if you will read this one for us, please.
When should we start applying for the BBA program for the academic year 2017? We have a rolling admissions process, so we just did the first session yesterday. So you have 3 or 4 more sessions coming up, so you can apply anytime, as long as it's going to be before April or May, if I'm not mistaken. You can find the exact dates on the website.
Thank you. All right. I want to end on something nice for you, so it's time for the sweetest. So I think we've talked about a broad range of subjects today.
Sure.
Had some good moments. I want to know what your absolute favorite was. So Shrey, if you can tell me very quickly what yours was.
My favorite moment of the whole interview would be about the program, the way it is constructed, because it's really a multicultural and a progressive program, you know, like which challenges you to put in your best efforts, you know. It stimulates your creativity and it gets you what you really want. It gives you direction. And that is one thing which is just truly amazing for me, yeah.
Okay, Corinne, last word.
I liked the step sideways questions about the cocktail. It's a pretty interesting way of defining a program.
You're caught off guard a little
yeah.
bit.
And also the campus's personalities, because it's, I think, really a key feature of the program and quite unique. Yeah.
Okay, thank you both very much for coming
Thank
in
you.
today. And thank you for watching. We'll see you again very soon, right here on Campus Channel.